The stove is probably my favorite thing I picked out in the kitchen. This right here is what kind of started the whole design idea. Over to the left, this is my secret door. I had not been in a tiny home before, and so it was a little challenging. The way I'm kind of putting it to people is, live tiny, travel big. Hi, I'm Tisa Wheeler. Welcome to the Badlands, my RV park model by Utopian Villa. Come on inside. When I designed the kitchen with my builder, one thing I was looking for was to try to get the luxury that I thought I wanted from a regular home and then have it put into my tiny home. So simple touches that we did were a Waterfall Edge Quartz Countertop. I did a pull out for both my dog food and trash. Underneath my cabinets, they did a electrical so I could put my internal composter in there, which was really helpful, saves the environment. We decided on one big sink, which I love. It's not the farmhouse style, but it's nice and big. And I did gold touches all throughout the house, which I absolutely love. I have more than enough storage than what I expected to have. So in the middle, we have a corner piece that pulls out. It fits my larger items in here. A lot of people don't have the storage, but really we had maximum use of every single space that we have here in the kitchen. But it's been great to be able to have the utilization of this. So I chose glass for one of the cabinets, not on both of them, because I wanted the white to be displayed, but not all my stuff is pretty. So I wanted to make sure that I could at least, if I have some messy cabinets, I won't have to have a display all the time. But I decided to go ahead and go with a convection microwave and not do the oven. It's been really convenient. The stove is probably my favorite thing I picked out in the kitchen. 5-burner gas stove has been wonderful. So I have not even had this in my normal homes I used to have. So this is actually one of the best stoves, and it has been really fun to cook on and have that experience here. I did a full-size dishwasher. Even though it's me, I go through a lot of dishes. When you have a tiny home, there's give and take. So by having some full-size appliances, I sacrificed my refrigerator size. Even though it's not 100% full size, I haven't needed any more room. Probably the only sacrifice here was it does not have a true ice maker. And so I thought it was gonna be a bigger challenge than what it is. It's got a partial ice maker where you fill up your own cubes. But I remember that back in the day, so it's been fine. Hasn't bothered me a bit. What I've really enjoyed is the pantry. When I first moved in, although I loved my pantry, I did realize that it was too deep for me. I'm short, and so I couldn't reach things. So I did call them, and they were kind enough to come out, and now I've got everything is all pull out. And the bottom, I really thought I wanted the cabinets to look clean in the kitchen and thought the pull-out coffee bar. So I had the builder put in the electrical sockets in the build, and so this was really going to be a good way to space to clean it off from the kitchen and be able to have that here. On the other side of the kitchen, I have a bar that we had built in. The original design did not have this. We were going to have to use this space for a hot water heater. But when I redesigned it with my builder, we put a tankless hot water heater. Then that left this space open, and I got to say, well, what if we put a bar in there? My favorite part of the kitchen is probably the feel of it. Feels like a normal kitchen. I do not feel as though I'm in a small house, tiny kitchen. The convenience, the layout, it's very light. It has a very modern look about it, and that's probably my favorite thing I like. The first step I had to do when I was looking at what tiny home I wanted was what was going to be functional for me, and I was really into the quality of the building. And when I went on YouTube and I kept seeing a builder, Utopian Villa, that would show their construction of their houses and the building process. And I was very impressed with that process that they had. And at that point, I was like, I knew that's who I wanted to go with, but every model they had, although well constructed, didn't have all the design features. So they offered and said, well, do you want us to do a custom? So I didn't know it was an option. So we sat down and we took pieces from lots of their models they already had until we came up with this design. Then I asked them about what normal price was because I was worried I was going to go a little high with all the things I wanted to do. But when we got done with everything I did, it was about $225. However, you can get this model without all the extra custom work for a lot cheaper. Things like a built-in bed, the marble bathroom, you don't have to have all those touches. It may not be your style anyway, but it's nice to be able to have the model without having the added cost. Although $225 is high for a tiny home, the work and the stuff that we added, it would be significantly higher today. So I decided to go with a full-size washer tower. They're connected, so it's not a stackable. It is one tower piece completely. But I have 2 dogs with me, and so the amount of washing and drying I'd have to do, I needed full size, and this has been clutch. I'm really excited to show you my bedroom. This is where I started to get excited. When I custom built this, I really didn't need a king bed. A queen was going to be fine, but it seemed as though I was not able to do a space plan that made sense. So when I talked to the builder, I thought, well, what if you custom built me a bed? And so I sent some drawings over and we went back and forth and he had some great ideas. One thing I wanted was, I did want the queen, but I want the mini split. I wanted to have a cover over it. So they covered it up and then they have 2 areas of storage. And then I thought, well, what else could we do that's fun? So here is actually, this lifts up and I have outlets on the inside with USB and USB-C ports there. Down below here is a pull-out drawer, goes all the way back. And I said, this is for my seasonal wear. The middle section has my bathtub. So the only thing I thought I was missing was maybe a bathtub. So I bought a soaker tub that I just take out of there, put it in my bathroom. It's great, works wonderful. And then the other drawer I've got, it pulls all the way out. It has everything, my socks, underwear, pajamas, everything possible is all in that one drawer. So everything's tucked away, it's nice and clean. I absolutely love the way it feels in here. One thing that was important to me when I moved here was where my dogs felt comfortable. They like to have their own space, somewhere they know where to be. And so I got this little tuck away bed for my little rat terrier and he loves it. So one thing I was concerned about when I went tiny was where I was gonna put my clothes. I am not known as a minimalist. So I did not have my builder actually do the closet on the inside. I waited till I lived in it a little bit, figured out where my things would go, space planned a little bit, and then I just went to IKEA and had some built-ins done. I haven't yet brought all my clothes, but I am not using the ones I have fully. So for the first time I realized I don't think I need them. So I don't have them here, but I think I'm gonna go ahead and get rid of them. You're in the Utopian Villa Badlands bathroom. This right here is what kind of started the whole design idea of I needed a bathroom that was big, that could hold my stuff, that was pretty. And I looked around and I really couldn't find a bathroom space that was gonna fit my needs. The builder and I worked together on this design and it has been so nice to have a big bathroom. I could not figure out on my shower what kind of tile to do. So I decided to go very classic with a marble shower and then all the gold touches. But the multi-function shower has been great as far as the 2 heads. My toilet is just a standard toilet. It's not a compost, a regular flushable. I'm in a community here, so we have full water. My cabinet on the inside is where I have solution for my jewelry, at least the stuff I wear every day. So I decided, well, make it a little fun, wallpaper the inside, put some hooks on it, and then see how that works for me. So I've only had it like that for a couple weeks, but so far I'm liking it a lot. The center here is actually a Bluetooth speaker and it's got lights that change colors, just add a little fun, but it's nice to be here. You can actually hear the speaker throughout the whole house. And the makeup station, I call it, for me to be able to have a place to sit down, I put a makeup mirror up there, and then to have all my space for my stuff nice and handy. If you're gonna have a tiny home, this is exactly the kind of design that could get you excited, because it has been, I say, more convenient than my regular homes I had. It was more functional than any other bathroom I've ever lived in. I work at home full-time. I'm a registered nurse. I work for a health insurance company. And so I work with a team of nurses, about 165 from all over the US and Ireland. And so we call members on the phone and make sure they have their healthcare needs met. It's very rewarding. I love what I do. All my nurses are remote too in their homes. And that gave me the flexibility to be able to do a move like this. The way I'm kind of putting it to people is, live tiny, travel big. Because I like to travel, and if I want to use my money someplace, I'd rather use it on travel than just normal everyday things. So I'm able to live here in my tiny home for the price of what my apartment was in Dallas. That allows me to save money and travel bigger. And if I lived in a regular home with more expenses, taxes, maintenance, upkeep, it would be a lot higher of a price point than I'm willing to pay probably. It's just where I want to spend my money was really getting as much out of every opportunity of travel that I can. All right, welcome to my living room. One of the things I love about it is we had a built-in doggy door for my pets. So that's been great for them. I have a full-size couch. This is the same couch I had in my previous apartment. And when we built it, we measured it. And so I built the living room around the size of the couch. I needed performance leather material for the dogs with dog hair. So this was definitely needed. The blinds I did in here, I did automatic blinds. So the 3 in here, I can't reach them very well, so they're on the wall. So it's nice and handy to be able to have the automatic blinds on that. The dressers, actually these were 2 dressers I had in my bedroom before. I just repurposed them, and it ends up being great storage. I use it for everything. The record player I have here, and then I've got this whole cabinet is full of records, which is great. And these are like utility drawers. The space has been great for me. I haven't had a lot of people over quite yet. I've had maybe 6 at a time, which it definitely seats 6. I've got super tall ceilings. When you walk in, it gives a good space. You don't feel claustrophobic. You actually don't feel like you're in a tiny home. It feels just like a small, regular home. Now I want to talk to you about my loft. So when you come up the stairs, the loft area is where I do my work. I only need a laptop, so it works being up here. And I don't really actually know what I'm gonna do with the space. I have it set up as a bedroom right now. I might keep it as a bedroom. It's really, I call it like my flex space, but it's got a lot of versatility in it. I also think it's great that, you know, you can customize things the way you want it. Over to the left, this is my secret door. It is my surprise factor. So when people come up and they love the home, but then this is the last thing I show them, and this is the final surprise. And this is the surprise room. So this is a good size. It's got a double bed in it. This room also has its own mini split. I had used this as my closet when I was getting mine built, and then I thought, I wonder if it would fit up here. And I tried it, I couldn't believe it, but I had just bought it, put it together, and I thought this would be great use to put my coats and everything here, and it's worked great on this way. This has been where my company comes, so this room has a pocket door, completely closes off, so you don't have to worry about any privacy that people are wanting to sleep in or not be disturbed by anybody else in the home. Okay, you're on my patio now. The patio is a large enough patio to seat 6 people, as I have right now. The reason why it actually needs to be extra big is in my community, we can't have sheds, so we can have whatever we can store on the patio. So when I first moved in, I thought I had to establish zones. where I was going to store things. So I came up with a zone on this shed, which I call my garage. On the other side, I've got another shed. My patio, I call my utility room. So as I was trying to figure out where I was going to be putting everything, this really helped me know where I had specific places for those items that I don't have to keep in my house. If I was going to give advice to anybody that was wanting to go tiny, I would say go stay in one before you even start thinking. Get space planning. That was one thing that I had not been in a tiny home before, and so it was a little challenging. But if I'd been in one and could kind of see where things would lay out and really figure out what your lifestyle is, I think that's probably the biggest thing, because you think something's going to work and it's not going to work at all. And every little part of a tiny home makes a big difference. And so just use your imagination, have options, be creative, have fun with it. So when you have your home, make it the way you like it. Thank you for seeing my home, the Badlands. I appreciate you coming and take a look today.